She often comes to visit me. She comes to warn me of what will happen to me. You certainly wonder who I'm talking about, and well, her name was Talia, and I am Amelia. I will tell you how I made this unusual meeting, but before I do that, please take a minute and subscribe, click on the notification bell, and share as much as possible, please. You are blessed. I entered the university with so much fear and uncertainty. Unlike other new students, I didn't have the same enthusiasm. I had always been a mommy's girl. I didn't really make big decisions because my mother did everything for me. I was the last of 2 children, and my older sister, Raisa, took care of me when mom couldn't. She was already a graduate and worked with mom. Dad was more absent from us because of his work, but caught up as soon as possible. I was preparing for my end-of-year exams, and mom had enrolled me in a rehearsal group. I went there at the end of classes, and they came to pick me up after work. That day we had finished earlier, and the wait was very long for me. And it was even longer when even after the scheduled time, they still did not show up. It was already getting late, so I decided to hit the road. I was really furious, and I was planning to show them my discontent. So I had arrived at the house all angry, but I noticed that it was far too quiet. The door was ajar. I called with hesitation, but no one answered. I checked the kitchen and the rooms, but found no one. When I left mom's room, I noticed traces of blood in the hallway. My heart started beating at 100 per hour. I was moving slowly, but I noticed that in the toilet it was even worse. What had happened? What happened? Where did my mother and sister go? Panicking, I was rushed outside. I didn't know where to go, so I sat on the doorstep. That's when my neighbor came to me. She seemed very surprised. Amelia, what are you doing here? I'm waiting for my mother and sister. So you're not aware? Aware about what? Your mother and sister came back a little earlier today from a business meeting. Without all of a sudden, your mother started vomiting blood, and your sister immediately called the ambulance that arrived sometime after. We were very surprised when your sister also began to vomit in turn. The ambulance transported them both, and they are currently in the hospital. I had to pick up Anthony from school, so I couldn't stay there for long. Come on, let's go. I'll accompany you there. My heart kept beating even faster. When I arrived at the hospital, I received the worst news of my life. They had both died. The causes could not be defined. I didn't understand anything. No one understood. The days that followed, I was still in shock, and my father, after receiving the news, returned. It was both of us against the world. He made the funeral in his own way by trying to be more present. I don't even know how, but I passed my exam at the end of the year. It was therefore necessary to start a life away from my father as an independent girl. You will get there, my princess. You are strong as your mother. I am here, and if necessary, you just let me know. I didn't really have a choice, so I tried the best I could to keep up with the current. Everything went well earlier in the first weeks, but I became more and more exhausted as the days went by. One night, while I was preparing for bed, I felt a wind blowing in the room. The air suddenly became icy. I got up to get a sweater, and at the corner of my room, there was someone standing. I thought I was hallucinating, but no. A woman, or rather a girl, was standing in my room dressed in white. She was about the same age as me. She didn't say anything, and neither did I. I was so scared because my room door was closed. After a few minutes, she disappeared. I didn't tell anyone about what happened. To whom could I have? I didn't have any friends, and also I consoled myself that it will last after all. I just need enough sleep and it will be fine. Unfortunately for me, the same scene kept repeating itself, and she even came this time to talk to me. She was the former occupant of my room and died in the middle of the year, and according to her, she was killed. She told me that there were spirits in that room who would also come to claim my blood. You have to leave here. You are in danger. They will come soon. They will come to pick you up too. Fear invaded me day after day. I saw human skulls in my room, and before I looked could notice they disappeared. One morning when I left for school, I inadvertently overturned the bag of one of my neighbors because I was so lost in my thoughts. Sorry, I don't know what's happening to me. No worries, but I have to admit that you don't look good at all. Can I help you? I'm Esther, your neighbor across the street. I don't know if you can help me. No one can. She looked at me with so much interest before saying, I don't know what your problem is, but I have a friend who has the solution to all problems. Everything? Did you say everything? I'm late for my exams on campus, and I think you too. Let's go, and we'll meet at your place in the evening to talk. The idea was just perfect for me because I had no plans spending more evenings alone in that room. When it was evening, Esther honored her promise and came to see me like she said. "Excuse me, but the atmosphere is very tense in your room." In a few minutes, I told her everything that was going on in my room. She often comes to visit me. She comes to warn me of what will happen to me. She offered to pray with me, and for the first time in my life, I did it for hours. Above all, she had presented the gospel to me, and I accepted Jesus, who was the only remedy for my peace. The nights that followed, I no longer received the visits of Talia, but of other people, and this time, it was my mother and sister. At first, I was happy to see them again. I told myself that God had given me this gift by sending my loved ones back. They asked me to do certain things, and without hesitation, I did them. I told Esther about it with all enthusiasm, but she told me, "Listen to me very well, Amelia. Your sister and mother are dead. They will never come back. You have to believe it and declare it. These spirits are not your loved ones. They are disguised evil spirits who come to seduce you and keep you captive." I couldn't accept it. I didn't want to, but I had to because I still felt the same fatigue coming back. When they arrived, I declared it again and again. "You are neither my mother nor my sister. I don't know you." The same night I had a vision, and God revealed to me that they had been killed just like Talia, but I had to pray for them for the rest of their souls, and thus prevent these spirits from using their faces. With the help of Esther and some of the brothers of the church, I was able to get rid of it, and my life of faith took a turn. My eyes are apparently open in another world, and I could see dimension where the devil and his demons reign, or to make it simpler, I could see the evil spirits around me. Some look terrifying, others don't. But with God's help, I managed to overcome it, and during spiritual retreats or evangelization outings. Nevertheless, it is useful because I serve as an alarm, but I must admit that it's quite tiring because I would like to have a normal life and see only physical things. Anyway, I am happy to serve in the body of Christ. The peace I have surpasses all understanding, and I would change it for nothing in the world.